Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about mindset because mindset is important, maybe the most important part of your life, including your internet marketing career. And the cliche of whether you think you can or think you can't, you're probably right, is so often true, because if you think you can't, you only try to do something, you don't put your heart and soul into it. A simple self-help exercise goes along these lines. Try to pick up a pen that's in front of you. Go on. There are only two possible outcomes there. You either leave the pen where it is or you pick the pen up. You can't actually try because there's no tangible result. Trying, it's just limbo. So think about that for a few seconds and then relate it to the things that you're trying to do in your internet marketing business or elsewhere in your life. How many things are on your to-do list that you're just trying to do and that they've been stubbornly there, not moving for longer than you'd care to admit? And unless you're a liar, chances are there are quite a few. Or you could be superhuman, but it's unlikely. Sorry. Probably in your life outside internet marketing, there's the same kind of things. If it doesn't have to be a written to-do list, it could just be any to-do list, just one that you keep in your head, scraps of paper, whatever. And it's why mindset is so important. And if you've not read any of the self-help or inspirational books recently, or at least ever, then I suggest it's time to pick one up. And whether it's a real book, as in physical pages, dead trees, or an electronic book on Kindle, PDF or whatever, or audio book, it doesn't matter, whichever works best for you. There's, again, no right or wrong way, and fortunately nowadays there's actually lots and lots of choices. And a lot of the classics on self-help and internet marketing effectively, although it wasn't internet marketing at that stage, it was earlier than that, it was still marketing. A lot of the classics were written a long time ago and they're not always easy to understand because language changes. It does actually quite rapidly. But if you can handle them, and audio can actually make them easier to understand, I'd suggest at least one of these. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, that's pretty much the classic. That's been the classic for nearly 100 years. And the other one you might not have heard of as much, but is equally good, Science of Getting Rich by a guy called Wallace D. Wattles. And both of those are really inspirational reads. If you don't get on with the language that was used 100 or so years ago, then there are plenty of modern day works that you could turn to. One that I've gone back to on several occasions is Spiritual Marketing by Joe Vitale. I bought it when it first came out and also bought copies for several friends, several of whom read it and really reacted well to it. Now available as a free PDF download, so you can check whether or not you get on with the style. Joe's style, like every other writer's style, isn't for everyone. But one thing that he does, and a lot of modern books do, is give you exercises to do, and it's tempting to skip past them and think, I'll do that later when I reread it. And I've thought that on more than one occasion, but I've found that I almost never go back through the exercises if I take that approach. So my recent approach has been to do the exercises as they crop up in the book, pretty much as per the instructions the book will give you. It knows that you'll get much more results if you go that way. So if you put the exercises off until later, there's a very high chance that later will never come. Other things will just get in the way. And if you're stuck on an internet marketing project, I'd wager that you've done the same. Read through the PDF or watched the videos, thought, that's a good idea, I'll do that later, and then never gone back to it because other things, life, gets in the way. So for the next 7 days, I'm going to suggest that you change that. When you buy a product or a book or whatever else, or come across an idea on a web page, commit to it for at least the next week. It's not every single idea you come across, incidentally, it's just the ones that resonate most with you. And chances are there's at least one of those most days. Do the exercises or the work that's needed, and spend enough time on them to figure out whether or not it's for you and whether or not it's likely to work for you. 7 days is less than most self-help books suggest is the time needed to form a new habit or break an old one. I'd agree with that. But I found personally that 7 days is long enough to get a good idea about something, and you can always commit to another 7 days after the first week. 7 days is also fairly non-contentious. It's only a week. You can cope with that, and there's less resistance from your conscious mind and your subconscious mind to that idea, rather than I've got to do that for a month or 6 months or a year, and I'll start soon. I'll try to start soon, and again, that never happens. So at this stage I was almost going to say try it, but obviously trying isn't going to work. We've proved that early on. Pick on something, just one thing, and work on it reasonably consistently for the next 7 days. Then evaluate whether it's something you'd like to continue working on, or whether it's something you should be put on the back burner to look at in 6 months, a year's time, or forever. Doesn't matter. It means you've done it. It means you've actually put some effort into something for a week. And it's only a week, but I reckon that if you do that on just one thing, fixate on it, spend 10, 15, 20, 30, 60 minutes a day on it for the next 7 days and see whether or not it works for you. And I don't know, that could be just reading a book that you've always meant to read and never quite have. It could be putting something into action. That's preferable, but whatever works best for you. Pick on something, do it. Okay, thanks for watching.